Hey everyone, RogueGold here. We just got done watching the Season 11 reveal livestream from the development team on Season 11 of The Division 2. They covered a lot of stuff about the upcoming changes in both this season and the future of the game, so I have my notes going through absolutely everything they covered, and I want to break it all down for you right now, so let's just get into it. Today, Daria, our community developer, was joined by Morden, which was a pleasant surprise. He's the product director on The Division 2 and has not been on one of these streams in the past, so it was fun to get his insight, and they joined us to talk about Season 11 Reign of Fire for The Division 2. They covered the new season trailer, the mana targets, the new gear. They talked about the NinjaBike backpack, which is of course one that everybody has been wanting to hear about. They covered PvP quality of life changes, some results from the PTS last month, the new apparel event we're getting. They talked briefly about Descent and gave us some new information on that, which is super awesome. We'll get to that. The ETF and some future plans discussion about the game. If you weren't aware, Season 11 goes live tomorrow, February 28th, so be sure to check it out in the patch notes for those will go live tonight, and you can find the link for that on their official Twitter account. They started off with some current issues in the game that they wanted to address. The first one, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be very happy about this, is that they talked about the PC crashes that have been ongoing with the game for the past year, right? They said that a lot of the issues they have fixed over time, but there are some legacy issues that have not yet been fixed. However, they have finally identified pretty much all of those old issues, and what they're going to do is add a new specialized unit of developers at their Ubisoft Bucharest team in order to directly fix this issue. And so once this is all in place, their hope is that this finally fully resolves all of the PC crash problems, at least the ones that have been plaguing the game for such a long time. Additionally, once this team fixes that, they're going to stay on the Division 2 and be a new live developer unit to handle all live game issues, stability, etc. This is absolutely awesome. If you've been part of the game and following along with it in year 4, stability and live game issues is something that we've run into a lot of issues with. So if this team can help resolve some of that, that's going to be really awesome. There's no current timeline for when this team will be implemented and will fully fix the PC issues, but at least in the next coming months, they hope to finally fully have that resolved, so that's super awesome to hear. They talked about the compensation cash that some players have not yet received from the recent issues in the last few weeks. They're working very hard to contact the people that are currently missing it and set things right. So if you are missing it yourself, either reach out to Ubisoft support or, hopefully that'll get resolved pretty soon. They then talked about the issue with global difficulty and directives having odd interactions with things like raids, classified assignments, etc. You may have seen that in the recent weeks or months, and they're actually, even though it's working unintended right now, they're actually working on a proper feature to implement so that this concept is just in the game, so that you can use some of these directives and different difficulties on these things that didn't previously have access to them. So that should be really awesome. That's not coming with the launch of Season 11, but in the near future. The Doctor Home grant that they promised to us at the end of last year is still coming. However, they want to fix their grant system first. The issues that made it so people didn't get their compensation caches. Once that is fixed up, they still plan on doing a Doctor Home grant. They also talked about the Pentagon issues. A lot of people have been having problems with those. There's pretty much 2 different issues, I believe one with each of the 2 missions at the Pentagon. One of them is fixed with Season 11, and the other is a work in progress. So hopefully that gets fixed up soon, because I know I've gotten a lot of questions about that, and a lot of people are running into those issues. They briefly talked about a few future plans. The specialization revamp, there is no comment as of now, but Year 5 is going to address this, so hopefully in the next live stream we will get a further update about that. They said there is an updated roadmap that is coming after Season 11's release. I would guess maybe within the next month to month and a half, hopefully. That'll be fun to get. And they also talked about how the Division 2 is now on Steam, and there has since been an update released that allows it to properly and fully function on the Steam Deck, which is a really cool functionality. All right, they then turned to some of the PTS results for Season 11 mixed in with another few future plans. So they said that the devs still view the PTS as a very valuable thing to test things out, and that certainly proved true with this. The jammer pulse change that a lot of people had discussion on and has had a lot of scrutiny over. This is the final change that's going into Season 11. It's now going to work where whatever tier your jammer pulse is at, it can jam anything 3 and above, or 3 and below, I should say. So if you're a tier 0 and you're using a jammer pulse, you can jam anything that is a tier 3 or below. Or if you're a tier 3 jammer pulse, you can jam anything up to a tier 6. So basically 0 plus 3 is how it's going to function once it goes into the live game. I've talked about that before. We'll probably talk about it again in the future, but that's how it's going to work. Now, there are no changes coming to the EMP sticky, so if you want to use that at a tier 0, it can still jam higher tier skills, but you obviously have to aim it more, so it requires a bit more skill in that regard. And unfortunately, they said the disable not destroy functionality, that's something that I put forward as an idea for how to make that change even better. They said that's just not possible with how the game functions, so unfortunately, we won't be seeing that coming into the game. Some really great news, however, is that the shrapnel trap now correctly scales in PvP, and it is finally going to be fixed for Dark Zone and conflict usage, which is great. It's been a problem for a very long time, and I'm really excited for that to make its way into the game. They then talked about the change with the Ravenous, the Bighorn, and the Eagle Bear being added to the Dark Zone. A lot of people had a lot of thoughts about that. They said it's still going forward, and it's going to be an opportunity for players who can't raid to get them an alternative way to have a chance at these items. They said they don't believe this is going to kill off the raid community in any type of way. It's still going to be far easier to obtain these items in the raids than it will be in the DZ. They said that their drop chances, these 3 items, are going to be lower than all other exotics in the Dark Zone. And even once you get that, you still have to extract it, as it is going to be contaminated. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. They also said that targeted loot in the Dark Zone is now returning to being contaminated. That was something that was bugged a while back, but they left in. It's now being fixed up. Not sure how I feel about that, but we can obviously talk about that later. They said the Hotshot gear set, which is the new one coming with Season 11, is now working as intended. I don't fully recall what the issue was with it in the PTS, but they said that that's now working. They also said the Sacrum Imperium new exotic, even though this won't be in at Season 11's launch, they are going to make an update later in Season 11 to give it a C79 scope, which will allow it to have greater flexibility and viability, because the way it scoped worked in the PTS wasn't always the best. But the talent and whatnot, they're going to give you the option to both shoulder it and scope in later in Season 11. They showed a quick image going over how masks now have a new shadow functionality, which is pretty cool, adds some new detail and depth to the apparel in the game. They're doing a rework for the Dr. Home, which was one of the worst received exotics from Season 10, and it actually sounds really awesome. So now how it's going to work is when you shoot an enemy, it applies a mark to them, and that enemy dying due to any, cause results in a 10% armor heal for the entire group. So the actual armor value is going down. However, you now don't have to run over and pick up the kit. It's any enemy you mark that dies from anybody heals your entire group. I think that sounds pretty awesome. I actually do want to try and mess around with it more once that goes in. I think that's going to be pretty cool. They also fixed the issues with the Dr. Home, where deconstruction will now grant exotic components, and it should now work with the focus talent. All right, they then moved on to the Season 11 reveal, and they showed the trailer for it. I have to say, this thing looks absolutely epic. I will probably not leave the audio version in here, but you should check it out if you can. It seems super cool. Again, they've teased before that the story for Season 11 is going to be really, really sweet, and this trailer does nothing but back that up. So the new prime target is Stovepipe. They show that and all the sub-targets later on. They said Natalia Sokolova is going to be more present, as is evident in this trailer, and that shot of the hunter dragging some guy across the floor, dude, Season 11 is going to be awesome. They said there are a lot of epic moments coming throughout the duration of Season 11. They then talked about the NinjaBike backpack, the thing that everybody has been having questions about ever since the PTS. They said its drop source, like I had thought, is going to be on the Season Pass, probably around rank 90 is where that will fall. And they said as far as the roles it's going to have, it is going to have all 3 core attributes the same as the Memento. Honestly, I mean, I figured that was a possibility. I thought they were going to go in a different direction, but I'm perfectly happy with that. And I think it's going to unlock a lot of fun build diversity and possibility, so I really can't wait to get my hands on that one. They said, as per usual, there will be a new season track that costs 1,000 premium credits if you want the version of it that comes with the additional cosmetics and all of that. There are going to be 12 new weapon skins. They showed off some of those. They look great. 11 new gear dyes, 2 new face masks, and you can now purchase season levels. If you don't have the time or you don't want to level up your season, whatever it is, you now have that option. In the track, you will get the new Sacrum Imperium exotic, the NinjaBike, like we talked about, the Hotshot gear set. There is a new apparel event called Necessary Tactics, and they went over some quick videos that showed the 4 different new outfits. I will play those in the background. Looks pretty sweet. Got kind of a more camo and tactical theme. And they reiterated that everybody gets 1 free key for apparel events. If you own the premium track, you get 3 free keys, and then from there you get 1 key for every 4 SHD levels, so that's going to work the same as it has in the past. So that was Season 11. They then moved and told us some more details about the Descent game mode, which was supposed to come with this season, but is now coming in Year 5 Season 1. We learned that delay a while back, but we actually got some new artwork and information. First off, the new concept art looks phenomenal. I cannot wait for this game mode. I think it's going to be way cooler than a lot of people are expecting, and they actually gave us some new information that I think are going to make a lot of people way more excited for it. There had been a lot of questions about if the game mode was going to be solo only, because that's traditionally what roguelikes are exclusive to, or if it was going to have co-op, and they said that because it ended up getting delayed from Season 11 to Year 5 Season 1, they've had some additional time, and they've now implemented the ability for co-op. So before it was going to be solo only, but now you can play with up to 4 players characters in the game mode, and that's going to be fantastic. They also said that like survival in the original game, this mode will be available before the end game because it has no level requirement. It's an entirely self-contained experience. So if you have some friends that are jumping into the game brand new, they can try this out, way early on in their journey, and that's awesome. They said that there will be more details on Descent in their next live stream. Of course, that'll be for Year 5 Season 1. It will also be included in the upcoming PTS, but this artwork alone gets me way more excited for this mode. I really can't wait to see Descent for myself. I think it's going to be really awesome. They briefly touched on the Elite Task Force. They said it is still happening quite soon, actually, and if you were selected for it and there were some weird things that happened with your invite, like it expired or you weren't able to accept it, whatever the case may be, if you were invited and you're having troubles with it, reach out to Ubisoft support or Daria and Morton directly for help, and they said that they will get those things resolved. They briefly touched on a few additional future plans in the works. The Conflict XP revamp was something that was on the known issues board for a little while. I've talked about that in a video before. That is going to be coming in Year 5 Season 1. I'm really excited for that, and I definitely want to talk about it more in some future videos. But they said you can now gain SHD levels by playing Conflict. That's going to be really nice. They're thinking about adding targeted loot, maybe some exotic components in there as well. Anything they can do to make the Conflict rewards more worthwhile is going to be, beloved in my book. They also announced that an entire XP revamp for the entire game is coming in Year 5 Season 1. Their goal is to rebalance all activities to be more worthwhile, right? They don't want the situation where everybody just wants to go after resource convoys, which is something I did a video on just yesterday. You may have seen it. So they said that most activities will have their XP values brought up, and a select few will have their XP values brought down. What I'm guessing is that means resource convoys, maybe one or two others, are going to be brought down a little bit, and all the others will be boosted up so that everything is roughly at the same level, and that they want XP across the entire game to be more consistent, and I think that's a good goal. They also said there's some changes coming, I believe, with Season 11, but it might be a little bit more in the future, how they're introducing some new countdown UI elements to more clearly indicate who the group leader is, so you don't have that situation where it's 8 out of 8, but somebody doesn't know they're the leader, so you're just sitting there. There's going to be some more UI stuff and audio stuff to let you know that you are the leader and that the group is full, so that can alleviate some of the waiting times once that occurs. They then had a Q&A session at the end here, just going over a few random questions the chat had. They talked about how they're renaming seasons to Year 5 Season 1 going forward. Once we get to Year 5, that's the following update after this one, and so in the future, seasons will be denoted by their year and what season they are for that year. So Year 5 Season 1, Year 5 Season 2, Year 6 Season 1, just for example. So that's how they're going to go from here on out. They talked about how the build generation system breakdown that happened in the previous few weeks here, that prevented them from doing the additional global events during the Season 11 delay like they had planned. So they apologized for that, but that's just kind of how that shook out. They said that old apparel event items will go into the premium store. I believe that's how it works now, but they were just kind of reiterating that philosophy. They said currently there are no new store exclusive outfits planned like the tracksuit that they had in the past few months. There are no new conflict maps planned for now. They want it to be fun first before they consider doing stuff like that in the future. They said cheating and cracking down on cheaters is always a high priority, but it's less in Massive's control than people may think. And so if you have a report on somebody, send it directly to Ubisoft support, as Massive can't do anything themselves but pass it on, right? So anytime that Morton or Dari gets tagged in this stuff on Twitter, all they can do is pass that on to Ubisoft support because that is all handled from Ubisoft's more internal team. So that is how that functions as far as the Division 2 is concerned. They said they currently have no plans to add raid exotics to the discovery modes of the raid. They also have no plans to add DZ exclusive items anywhere else in the game. They said further crash fixes for the fast traveling issues like from New York to DC is coming with the release of Season 11. And they left us off with a bit of a tease saying that if you want to hear more about potential skill reworks in the game, tune in to the Year 5 stream, which leads me to believe there will be at least a few of those coming in Year 5 Season 1, which is really awesome to hear for sure. And that is it, my friends. That was the entirety of the Season 11 reveal live stream for the Division 2. Honestly, they covered way more than I thought they would, talking about stuff like Descent, some rough plans that they have for Year 5 Season 1. All of that was super appreciated. I love getting all those details, along with the stuff we did learn about Season 11. Like I said, the new trailer was really awesome. I'm so glad that we finally now know the truth about the NinjaBike backpack. Can't wait for that to go live tomorrow. And yeah, not too much else for me to say, folks. Again, this update goes live tomorrow, February 28th. The patch notes are going live later tonight. You can check on their Twitter for further updates on that. So be sure to stay in the loop for all of the timings and stuff when you can access the update tomorrow. And I very much hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you can be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts about the Season 11 reveal live stream for the Division 2. What was the stuff in there that you were the most excited to hear about? Was there anything that surprised you? Anything you were disappointed by? As always, we'll love to hear everybody's thoughts about that. Just to let you all know, I will be streaming Season 11 tomorrow morning at approximately 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, so tune into that if you want to see me go over all of the new stuff in the update. But for now, that is going to do it for me. Everybody, once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold. Ow.